Hello, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be looking at the marble inks. The marble inks come in the set of solids. These are the solids. They are very beautiful. I did them all over a white base so they would have a more uniform look. These are the 8 colors that come in the solid collection, and then these are 2 of the 4 that come in the metallic collection. There is a gold and a blue as well, in addition to the green and the silver. I'm also going to be using the 3D brush for my marbling technique I'm going to do. I also am going to be using this Dappen dish. I already poured acetone in it. You're going to want to be using 100% acetone to move the alcohol inks to the desired design. You don't have to move the inks around with acetone, but if you want to manipulate the ink, you must use 100% acetone. Now, I already prepared some nails beforehand so that this video would not take as long. So on 3 of them, I did a matte top coat finish. I just used, all of these are Sundara nails products. So you just go to the website and you'll be able to find all of them. Everything will be listed in the description box. On 2 of the nails, I used the Extreme Shine top coat because I did want to show you guys some comparison for different inks. The white is Fluffy Clouds, which is a solid gel polish that is only 1 layer on the nail tips. This color is like a prismatic color. It's kind of hard to see in the matte finish, but it is Ice Castle. And then I decided that I also wanted to do a little bit of like a glittery base. So I chose to use Snowball Fight from the Dazzling glitter collection. I love this color. They look a little bit different in matte, but once you add the top coat, it just all comes together. Now I'm going to start with the red ink on the matte finished white nail. So I chose red because red just seems to show up the best on camera, and it's like the darkest, boldest one, but I didn't want to use black because I used black on a different nail. So all you're going to want to do is give your bottle a little shake just to mix the pigments up just a little bit, and then you can either dab onto the nail or you can drag it how I did. Either way works fine. But now I'm also going to do that dabbing or dragging on the top coated nail, the shiny top coat nail. So now you see what is happening when I apply the alcohol ink to a shiny top coat. It is not working the same way. You're not going to get the same effect that you would get if you put it on a matte finished nail. So when you're using the solid alcohol inks or the solid marble inks, you're going to want to use them over a matte top coat. So you put your color down and then you apply a matte top coat and then you go to town with whatever ink you would like to use. Now I'm also going to show you how the metallic ink looks over a shiny top coat. Now, this technique does work. It just works sparingly. This is an option for a way to do it. You can apply it over a shiny top coat. No problem with that. It looks fine. It gives you a little bit of dabs of metallicness throughout the nail. But that is not the choice way that I prefer to do it. I prefer to lay down a gel base coat on the nail. So I just decided to go over the top coat with a gel base. And then I would wipe it with alcohol. But since I already had the acetone out, I just went ahead and used acetone. So after I did that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to apply the metallic ink into the gel base. With the tacky layer wiped off, you want to wipe off the inhibition layer because you don't really need it. You can try it with it. I just choose to wipe it off just for the fact that it helps to move the inks a little bit better with it not there. So this gives you a little bit better of a finish. Sometimes I put a little bit too much and it will flood around a little bit, but when I use metallic inks, I generally don't use them on the nail by themselves. I use them with another color. So it looks, in my opinion, a lot better when it's mixed with another color for that pop of silverness to the marble or that pop of metallic to the marble. Now I am going to show you what it looks like on top of a matte top coat so that you can kind of see the difference when you're using the metallic inks. Now, the metallic inks can be applied this way. They just won't keep that metallic look over the matte top coat because the metallic particles kind of sink into the nail. Now, I do make it a little bit wet and then I pull it up closer so you guys can kind of see. Now, this is in real time, just so you guys can watch it like suck the particles down into the top coat. It doesn't give that metallic finish. It gives more of just like a silver glaze finish, and that can also look really good. So it really just all depends on what type of look you're wanting to go for. But this is the difference in a matte top coat versus a base coat or a shiny top coat, just the different looks that you get. So now we're going to move back and I'm going to show you how I marble the nail. I'm going to take my 3D brush, which is the brush of choice for me of Sundara's brushes. I like to use this one to marble with because it's got a little bit of almost like a point to the tip. And I just find that this one is just the easiest to work with when marbling. Liner brushes don't really give the effect that I want when I'm applying like this. Now you can use them. You can use whatever brush that you would like. I just find that this brush in particular was a little bit easier for me to use and it's a little bit more beginner friendly. Now, the alcohol ink or the marble ink, whichever you prefer to call it, they are the same. They mean the same thing. I just go back and forth between terms. And I am just manipulating the ink with acetone and my brush. Now, I dip the brush in when it gets a little bit dry because acetone does dry in the air very quickly. And then I am dabbing it on my paper towel just a little bit so that I am not saturating the nail with acetone because anywhere you put the acetone, it is going to take the color off of the nail as you're seeing. I'm using a little bit heavier in some areas, and I'm just working on making veins or putting the ink into a design that I like. And this is really all just personal preference. They're really easy to manipulate as you see. Now, I did speed up this a little bit just because I feel like it's better and more fun to watch it when it's done a little bit faster, but this step is all about personal preference. And when you get the ink to a marbleness of your liking, you can put a sealing base coat on it, and then you can put either flakes or anything like that on top right there, or loose glitters, you can put them in there, or you can add your top coat straight on top. Or if you wanted to add another color on top of the marbling, you can do a matte top coat and then put another color on top so that it wouldn't mix in with the red. So that is how you do your traditional marble. And now I'm going to show you something a little bit fun. I'm going to do a rainbow design with these three colors. I'm going to use pink, yellow, and blue. And I'm going to show you guys how super easy it is to get a rainbow marble nail with just these three colors. But also having a glitter or a sheer base changes the effect that you get with the marble, as you'll see at the end. I do show all of the nails that I do at the end of the video, so just stay tuned for that. Also, another tip is to, in addition to shaking the bottle a little bit, when you are done using a bottle, I recommend 100% closing the bottle. Even if you have to go back into that bottle for some more ink in just a little bit, it is worth the trouble to just open the bottle again versus accidentally knock the bottle of ink over on your desk and have a huge mess to clean up. I have done that more than one time, and it is not fun to clean up because the inks stain. So just be careful. Another thing that I want to mention is you see me wiping my brush off. Now I'm wiping my brush off on the side on the paper towel over there because I am touching another color ink. And what will happen is that if you don't wipe your brush off, you can possibly transfer the other color back into the bottle, and then the pink could possibly turn orange because it touched the yellow and went back into the bottle. So now the yellow ink is in the bottle, and over time you can change the color of the inks. So just make sure if you're using more than one color and they're touching, just to wipe your brush off before putting it back into the bottle. All right, so this is the silver that we did. Now this is the silver that I put, and I put it over the base coat. No, I put it over the matte top coat, and I just left it to the side to dry up a little bit. And I did not put another layer on top of it to seal it in. So the black and the silver are going to kind of mix together a little bit, and it gives for a super cool look. Now I wanted to show you guys what would kind of happen if you don't put layers in between. Now it doesn't look bad, but we're just going to set those off to the side to dry a little bit, because they have to dry before we get to working on them just a little bit, so it's not flowing all over the nail. Now for this one, this is a sheer glitter. I put it over a clear nail tip, and I'm going to use a blue ink since blue is the base in the polish. And I'm just going to do 2 lines on it. And with this one, it's a little bit more difficult to see the veins as you're marbling, just because the polish is so sheer and just how it works out. So sometimes when you're marbling, it's really hard to see the lines until you put the top coat on. So sometimes marbling is more of a trust the process type thing, but you'll see at the end how beautiful it looks. All right, now we are just going to work on just kind of blending the lines between the colors, and just kind of dabbing between the lines, and just making sure to kind of just almost ombre with the inks, if that makes sense. Like how you would ombre with the gel polish to kind of like make the lines not so harsh. All you're doing is really just dabbing the colors together so that the lines aren't so harsh. And it makes the easiest rainbow nail ever. I mean, I could have blended it just a little bit better, but y'all get the idea of kind of what I was doing. This was my first time actually trying this with these inks. I've done it with other colors, but I figured I would try it because I love a good rainbow, and a good easy rainbow. Why not, right? And then the color underneath, the way that it sparkles through, is so beautiful. Now you could do a second layer of the inks on top. You'd put the base coat, and then you would put another layer of matte top coat, and then you would just do the same 3 inks all over again, and it would give you like a more pack of a punch. But since I put that beautiful ice prism color underneath, I didn't want to make the inks too dark. And you will see how gorgeous that turns out in the end. But you just want to blend them to your liking and just kind of play around with it. And the good thing about these is that you're not in any kind of hurry. They air dry, and it is all in your time. So I go ahead and I put the top coat on, but I left the reveals to the end so you would stick around for the video to watch them. Or you can sneak to the end if you would like to see them, but all of the reveals of these nails are at the end. Now with this one, as you see, some of the silver is picking up on my brush. So what is happening is that beautiful silver design that I did underneath, it is not going to stay where I put it because I did not seal it in and then put a layer on top. So if you would like to have a design on the base and then do a separate design on the top, you would have to do your base color, you do your matte top coat, and then you do whatever first layer color design you would like. And then you're going to want to put a base coat and then another matte top coat on top of that. And then you'll be able to separate those layers. And then since the matte top coat is still clear, you will be able to see the initial base design underneath. But with this one, I didn't want to do that so you guys could kind of see me troubleshooting it. And it still turns out really pretty, as you'll see at the end. It still does look really good. It just could have been a little bit different if I would have just sealed that silver in. It would have popped in different areas. But with marbling, I feel like it's one of the easiest, most fun things to do because you really can't mess up, and you also don't have the stress of keeping all of the nails the same, because that is next to impossible to do, because marbling is just what marble wants to do. Think about a marble countertop when you're doing it. No 2 spots are the same, but they're all beautiful together. So we are finished with that nail, and I'm going to put the top coat on. And now it is time for our last nail. Like I said, this one is going to be a little bit harder to see You may have to put the nail at different angles for you to see the marbling design, but it really just is a matter of kind of playing with it and then just like trusting the process. You could, if you wanted, you could or put a base coat on the nail and just kind of see where you're at, cure it, and then put another matte top coat on, and then kind of put another layer on top and then do the same thing. Um, but also another thing, since this nail tip stand that I'm putting the nail on is black, it's also giving a different vibe of what the nail actually looks like, as you'll see when I pull the nail off. So if you're going to use a sheer nail like this, I recommend using a white or a clear nail tip stand, and it will make it a little bit easier. Also, my gloves are black, so the blue is popping a little bit more on the base color because the base polish does shift colors over black and over different colors. But as you see, if you tilt the nail, you can kind of see the marbling that's happening. And here are all of the finished nails for you guys. This is just my phone flash, and then I have one light coming from the backside. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really hope you found this tutorial useful and helpful. And if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments section and we will get back to you. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and we will see you all in the next video.